Good morning, good evening. That sounded Australian, didn't it? Whatever time it is. Hello, welcome back to another episode. My guest on the podcast this week is Rory Rodriguez. What a name. The singer, songwriter of the band Dayseeker. We talk about their stratospheric rise to success, which has actually been slower than I thought. I thought it was an overnight thing. They've been going for a hot minute. We talk about, it's quite depressing, we talk about death quite a lot. He recently lost his father, but we also talk about life. He's recently had a kid. It was a great episode. I didn't know him before this. We really got in deep about a load of stuff. Lovely chat, lovely guy. Before we get started, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/the Downbeat. On it, you get early access to episodes. You get early access to merch. You get ad-free versions of the episode. It's real cheap. Cheapest tier is £1. Patreon.com/the Downbeat. If you don't want to support me on Patreon and you hate me but you like to leave the house while looking kind of cool, we have merchandise, www.thedownbeat.at, so it's past Downbeat, hoodies, t-shirts, vintage styled metal shirts, streetwear, hoodies, loads of stuff, new stuff being added always. 2 shipping locations, one from the UK, one from LA, www.thedownbeat.at, so it's past Downbeat. This episode, as ever, is brought to you by the lovely people at Display. You see them in the background, or do you hear them in the background if you're just listening to the audio? They make metal posters they mount on a wall with a magnet. I can't tell you the amount of times that I have tried to hang up a portrait of myself like Bowser in his castle, and I've drilled a hole through the wall, put it up, and then I've pulled some of the wall down. Display gets rid of that. They're magnetic. Guess what? You can even get a portrait of me as if you were Bowser, or actually that would make you one of the Goombas, I believe. That sounds bad. Is that a bad word? I don't think it is. Who have posters of Bowser, but they live in Bowser's castle. There's a Downbeat store. There's football teams. There's movies. There's anything. If you get bored of one, you can just flip it out, change it for another one. Environmentally friendly. Listeners of the Downbeat podcast can get a whopping 22% off 1 to 2 displays, or 33% off 3 or more, by using the code DOWNBEAT at www.display.com/the Downbeat. That's www.display.com/the Downbeat. Check it out. Make your walls look better than they already look, which is bad. It's Rory Rodriguez of Dayseeker on the Downbeat podcast. Hi. That's my favorite bit.
That's great. Yeah, the gray into the clap is nice.
My favorite bit though is because we've been talking for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
and it's just like, no, we're not rolling yet, and then I clap, and then I don't know what it is about me. I leave like a pause.
There's pressure now. Now it's real.
Have you got pressure? Yeah. Is there pressure?
No, you just don't want to come off a certain way, on a podcast, but
coming straight in on just like, that guy was awkward. Really, I made it fucking awkward.
Do you have a nice little clap, awkward pause, and giggle with most people?
Absolutely everyone.
That's awesome. Okay.
Especially if something's happened before that can't make the episode, if it's like a NDA style conversation, or they've got something coming out that we can't talk about, then I'll clap and leave the pause really long, because then it seems like they're about to say something about what we can't talk about. I don't know why I do it. It's really bad. Rory Rodriguez.
Yeah.
What a fucking cool name.
You think so?
Fuck yeah.
I think the first name is cool. The last one seems kind of...
You put them together though, that alliteration.
It's just a lot of R's. That's really...
I was going to ask you if it was like a stage name. That's how cool it is.
No, my name is kind of interesting because not to get super dark, but my dad had a younger brother who was actually murdered when he was 23. My grandma, my dad's mom, just was like, oh, if you ever have a son, maybe you should name him after your younger brother in his memory. So I was like,
holy shit.
It's weird. I've gone to my uncle's gravesite and it says my name on a tombstone, but it's a different middle name, but it's still just weird looking at it. And it says like Rory. My middle name is Spencer, but it's like Rory L. Rodriguez. And
looking at the gravestone.
Yeah, but I mean, he died I think 15 years before I was born. So it's weird because we didn't meet obviously. But
did you say murdered?
Yeah, pretty.
Holy shit!
You
came in real dark.
I know.
I don't want to get too dark, but murder.
My stories are not this cool usually, but I mean, not that murder is cool, but he yeah, he just had this buddy who I guess was kind of just like a bad seed, and he dragged my uncle along unknowingly to a robbery, and they got caught. And then my uncle didn't mean to roll over on him, but he was basically just like, I didn't know what was happening. And then so his buddy went to jail. He didn't, and I guess his buddy kind of built up a lot of anger that he didn't cover for him. So he got out, and then he, I guess, like lured my uncle back into a friendship, and then got him very drunk at a party one night, waited for everybody to leave, and then like shot my uncle in the head while he was asleep. So yeah, obviously just a horrible guy. So super sad. Yeah, because I think my uncle was only like 23 when he died, and I'm like, I think it's a trip too when you live past the age of people who have died.
How old are you now?
I just turned 35 like a week ago or something.
Yeah, I'm 37, and now I get the same thing. Have you had a midlife crisis yet? Is it happening? Has it happened? Is it upcoming?
It might be upcoming. My 30s honestly have been awesome so far.
Sick, good for you.
Yeah.
I think I'm having my second midlife crisis as we speak. And like, I get the same thing. Like, I was listening to Jeff Buckley the other day, and it was like, oh, he died at, I can't even remember what age he died at. I think it was like 30 maybe. And I was just like, oh, I'm outliving all of these like legends. And part of me is like, am I next? And the other part is like, should I have gone earlier?
No, you're just better than all those people. That's what's happening. No.
How are you enjoying Scotland? How long have you been here?
3 days, actually.
You've been here for 3 days already?
Yeah. We had a show in Dublin we were meant to play like 2 days ago, and the ferries were just all getting canceled and delayed because of inclement weather. And so we waited, like, we kept checking like ferries, like any ferry we could catch, and they would like, it'd be like delayed and then canceled, and then look at the next one 2 hours later, delayed and then canceled. So it sucks because it was just literally, quite literally just a physical impossibility to get over there. And man, I couldn't believe, not so much for us, but, and I'm not talking shit on, can you curse on here?
Yes.
Great.
I think, how far in are we, Simon? Cut this as well,
Not long enough to say the C word.
You can't say the C word, but Americans don't say the C word anyway.
Oh,
no, you said it. So
okay.
that keep that in, but like bleep it out, please. Yeah, you can curse.
My natural inclination sometimes is like to throw an F-bomb in there. And
no, that's absolutely fine.
And I really start overthinking like, oh, I'm on a podcast. Maybe I shouldn't.
No, I
say
so
willy-nilly.
fucking insane shit. You'll get
okay. Awesome.
You'll
yeah, I'm not talking shit on their fans because Pierce's fans are awesome, but I couldn't believe how many fans were upset at Pierce
for the weather. Yeah,
kind of. It was. I understand it. There's a lot of people who booked flights and vacations, and we even had a fan comment. I like flew 3,000 miles to catch your Dublin show, and it sucks because I know we're coming back at the end of the year. We haven't announced it yet, but yeah, it was just wild seeing some of these people like, because they said something in their posts of like, we were really excited and really looking forward to come. And then people would comment and be like, if you were so excited, why haven't you announced a reschedule with your cancellation? And then this other one was going off on like, this other band had to cancel a show and they're coming back in a week. Why don't you do the same thing? Like, it's like, yeah, like us and Holding don't have our own plans after it's just, man, I felt so bad for him. And again, I'm not like, I like Pierce fans, but I couldn't believe like it's just, we can't swim across like the ocean with all of our equipment. We have to take a ferry, and the ferries didn't exist, so we had to cancel.
I used to, with stuff like that, I used to get so enraged that I would just be like, I'm just quitting music. Like, I don't owe you this explanation of whatever. What I've started doing now, I'm in my old man era.
I mean, you look like you're like 25, but yeah.
Thanks very much. I'm 37. I like, you threw me off guard there with a compliment. I like to like actually educate people with these things. I like take a deep breath and then I just go, hey, this is what's happening. This is why the show can't be rescheduled, blah, 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 blah. And then I find that sort of snowballs. But my instinct when I see stuff like that is like, I'm going to quit fucking music. You little entitled little fuck. You think, what about me? I can't play the show. We're not making any fucking money. I get really annoyed and I'm like, actually, they just don't know.
I know it is. I think, well, as a musician though, you think about like, like we had this band, Polaris, they awesome band, good people. They're just kind of going through a thing right now. So,
oh, I know.
We were meant to be on a tour together in a couple weeks, and they had to drop off kind of last minute. We had to announce that, and yeah, just people like same thing in the comments, just like because they were just like, oh, like personal issues. You think at that point most people understand like I'll respect privacy, everything's good.
You had a band member die really recently, and you continued to tour.
Yeah, God bless them. I think they just stacked their year, and maybe it was just too much at once. But I just saw people in the comments going like, what do you mean? Like, explain more. Why are you dropping? And it's just like, you're not entitled to that information. And also it's just, you're completely missing out on the fact of like how much money is being lost. Just how it's like, there's so many more negatives.
No one wants to cancel at all.
Yeah, exactly. And I was kind of speaking to your point. I understand when you're talking to somebody online and they're kind of going off on a tantrum and you're like, you have no idea what you're even talking about.
You have literally zero idea. It makes me think about Sleep Token though, and I'm just like, oh, imagine the bliss of just having a mask. All right, boys, you got to cancel something. Cool. I'm going to the fucking shops. No one knows who I am. Like you have to cancel something or whatever. All of the fucking like blowback is directed at the masks, and like no one knows who you fucking are. So it's just like
that is true.
It must be freeing.
I've thought about the bliss of like man, that is cool. Like, or even it's just we hit a point a few years ago where now it's like not so much like internationally, but in the US it's like I can't go into the crowd and just watch the show anymore. Somebody's like, can I get a picture? And somebody sees us taking a picture and they go, oh, I want one. And then it just starts like a ripple effect. So I have to throw like a hoodie on with a face mask and a cap. Like and I'm like, whoever that guy is can just walk out into the crowd. And he's just this tall, lanky dude. Just like, just
not anymore. Just told everyone who he is. But no, I get that too. And the problem I have with it is twofold. Like I sometimes don't go to shows for the same reason. And honestly, it's not Australia, it's the podcast. And it's not that I don't like getting photos with people. It's like, I love it. Like, who doesn't fucking love someone going, hey, I know who you are. I want a photo with you, which is fucking awesome.
Sure.
But like, I end up worrying, oh shit, was I rude to that person? Is everyone looking at me at the sound desk? Am I standing in front of someone and someone's then going to go tweet about that? And I just like freak out about it. So I just don't go.
Like at all?
Sometimes I'll go. I'll go if the venue has like a real cool. And this even saying this out loud sounds like, oh, he'll only go if there's a backstage. It's just like, no, it's just because I'm fucking so anxious. Like,
I know it. Yeah. You know what it is too, is it was that saying something like 100 different versions of yourself exist in everybody else's heads. And you feel like you have a pretty good grasp on who you are. And it's because you do, like, you know yourself better than anybody. And I've tried, because we've been touring for like 11 years and I've tried so hard. Every time a fan has come up to me to try and seem like engaged and really, and I probably have been more engaged at times and other times I've just been so burnt out and because I used to do merch for us in the beginning of our band, where I would like hang out for an hour before we played, go play, like wipe the sweat off my face, run to a table, and then sell shirts for 4 hours. And I tried so hard to be nice, and then you still like, you just read like a YouTube comment and like most of the time everybody's like, oh, he's nice, he's super chill, everything's great. And then I remember like I read a YouTube comment a few years ago. It was like, I met that guy a few years ago and he was a fucking asshole. Like, I was just like, no fans ever come up and be like, I really love your band. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like, you know, like,
fuck off, man.
Yeah. I've never done that. And it's so weird that like you can just be misinterpreted and then somebody says something online and then 100 people read that comment and they're like, yeah, I heard that guy was an asshole. And then it starts this weird narrative and you're like, you don't know me. You talk to me for 5 seconds when I haven't slept for like 4 days, and I just want to go home, and then I'm not.
That is the one.
I think too. I don't know if it's the same with. Stray is so like politically driven, so I don't know if that's what people want to talk about with you when they meet you, or if it really is related more to the podcast.
Oh, it's just podcast.
Okay, interesting.
Thank God. Like, I'll write lyrics about political stuff. Like,
do you write the lyrics for?
It's
for
like
Stray?
Everyone writes them, so we sit there and it's.
That's so sick, actually.
It's sicking. Thank you. It's sicking
Help
concept.
sounds great.
So we're gonna get to that. No. We sit with Like, okay, this song sounds like it should be about this. Like we have a list of things that we want to talk about, and then we sit.
That's cool.
We sit in the studio, and we loop the chorus on loop for however long it takes, and everyone has a little notepad, and everyone writes their shit down, and then everyone brings, all right, what about this? But like, no, that fucking sucks. So it takes fucking forever. But it means it's truly
Okay,
like...
I changed my mind. That doesn't sound fun
Right,
at all.
it sucks. It's the equivalent of like the vocal version of when you used to have to write music in a jam room. Like everyone everyone jamming at once. What about this riff? And then someone else is like playing the drums and you can't get your riff across. It's that, but for vocals. Well, what about this? No, that fucking sucks. And then people have arguments because you've got to be so quick paced with it. You have to be okay with like having a shitty idea, but then we're all such blunt, like UK and then New York. Oh, that fucking sucks. Like we have a running joke where I think Will Putney once said, I'd rather say the word turtle. Like, and I'm not going to say who got really, really fucking offended by it, threw a little tantrum. And then we had to fucking, like, the name of the group chat is now just a picture of a turtle.
Oh my God.
But like, it's horrible. Don't do it.
Is your singer's name Drew, or am I
Drew.
making that up? It is Drew.
It was Drew.
It was Drew. He, like, I just imagine, like, I write a lot of this stuff like lyrically I write everything. I write a lot of the music too, but it's just there is a part of me that's like, man, yeah, like I wish I had help. But then sometimes people try and chime in and then I'm like, oh, like this is like,
Yeah.
I'm like really protective of it because we've kind of built it into this thing. So I'm surprised that Drew isn't more like I don't need your help. Like I got this. Like
I think
I'm the singer.
it's always been everyone. It's always been everyone.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's cool. So it's like everyone has, it's great, especially because some people don't like, you know, you can't have an opinion on absolutely every single fucking political thing that happens or else you'll be completely depressed all the fucking time. Sometimes I'll literally put my hand up and be like, not that I don't care about this, but like
You're just not passionate
it's
about
not
it.
from my country or I haven't been around it enough to be charged up enough to fucking write some screaming for it. So I'll like back out of it.
Have you guys ever considered like not stepping into politics at all?
The last record, oh, it's your podcast now. The last record, it was much more ambiguous, like lyrically was more like, this is what it's about, but there was no, we made a mistake on Only Death is Real by like naming people's names at that moment that sucked. And it just dates it immediately. Like that those songs are fucked.
Oh, interesting.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
No,
it's
that's
just like,
a great point.
No one gives a
actually.
shit who that is. So we tried to be more ambiguous with the last one, and it worked really fucking well because it's obviously, you know what it's like. Art in general, you write a song about X, but someone else reading that, or at the end of a movie, here's what the director meant, here's what you interpreted. Mm-hmm. Both of those are correct because it's art. So like we tried to do that. I think we're trying to do that more. I'm especially pushing for that. It's just like write the song about this, but
That's great. Yeah, I am a Stray fan. I do feel like as I've gotten older, it is harder for me to listen to heavier music. I did listen to your newer album, but it's like I just find that I want to listen to like fast-paced metal when I'm like at the gym or in a certain mood, and then when I'm in my car. I'm with my daughter a lot too, so sometimes if I play metal in front of her, I'm like, am I like fucking you up in a way? I don't know. Like it's like metal and chaos, and she's just like in her car seat.
What's
her
name?
Hazel.
what is she? She's got a song.
She does have a song.
got a song.
Yeah, she only gets one. You know?
That's cool.
Yeah. But no, I really liked. I looked it up and I listened to it before I came on here because
It's fine. It doesn't matter.
it does matter. It's the one. It's the album. Is it Subliminal Criminal? Am I making that?
Yeah.
Up? Is that
No,
an
that's
album
an
with the
album,
bird? And
Yeah.
that album rips, dude. So
Production
good.
sucks though. No offense to Will Putney. It's really punk. I basically I joined the album after that, and I went, yeah, okay, guys, we're a metal band now. This is how the drums sound. This is how we'll be doing this. Tom, here's my sugar. Here's Gojira. Fucking
No, it's just I know you can get locked into like the mixing and just how things sound, but I just thought the songs were like, yeah, I would listen to that album a lot.
You're cute.
Good.
Thanks,
Just a
bro.
ripper.
Let's talk about dinner, guys. I am thrilled to talk about dinner with you because this episode of the podcast is brought to you by the lovely people at HelloFresh. HelloFresh makes it super easy to cook over 100 different recipes with fresh ingredients sent directly to your door in exactly the amount that you need for the recipe. You know me, guys. I love a meal prep and I love cooking and I love eating, but I hate having too much ingredient left over when I go to the shop. I hate deciding on it. I hate waste. I hate cooking too much food and having too much leftovers and having to throw it away. You can get premium recipes. You can get fast recipes. You can get high protein ones. You can get veggie, vegan ones. They got everything you want. I had a roast on Sunday, and let me tell you, the best thing about it was exactly enough roast for 2 people. I didn't have to go and buy an insanely massive bit of meat. I didn't have to go and buy a massive bag of potatoes. I didn't have to sit there and figure out how to make a red wine jus. It was simply all of the ingredients to make the red wine jus was just in there, ready to go. Banged it together. It was absolutely awesome. Super easy, really easy to read instructions. It was so easy to pick the recipes I wanted. It was so much fun to cook. Do me a favor because I really want them to stay on as a sponsor, and I was genuinely super impressed. Click that link or scan that QR code or go to www.hellofresh.co.uk/Renlord. Pick yourself up a box. You can get 60% off your first box, plus 20% off for the next 2 months, plus free desserts for life. Start doing some cooking. It's super easy. No mess, no waste. Check it out. Let's get back to the pod.
You really pushed the fart discourse around Sleep Token on Twitter. That was happening.
Do you know what? Okay, let's just do it. I really did push the Sleep Token fart discourse. And it's only because I think it's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
It is funny. I saw somebody at the show, though, say that it wasn't real.
That
and
ruined
it shattered.
it for me.
Yeah, it ruined everything for me. But it was just, it's funny because it happened and me and my guys were like, because they're massive. They're a huge band and I love their band, but it was just funny. Like, I think they were still on this kind of like grand trajectory and we were all like, I think that came out and we were like, what if that just ruined their career?
What if it ruined that song? What if people kept doing the fart?
That's what we kept talking about. Because there are like a decent amount of moments where it's like, I mean, he has a great voice, but yeah, it's just his voice and then an instrumental. And I'm like, it's just this
soft.
one fan. Yeah, just leaves this. Like, what if this trend just starts where you just make a fart noise while they're playing? But
if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about there's a video on Sleep Token's Grand Trajectory. There's a video of them they're in the middle of the song, real down tempo section, just vocals and like synths, and someone rips a big fart, and people laughed in the crowd, and it was heard around the world. Apparently, the fart was fake, but like I kind of piled on just because it was so fucking funny. I've had 2 moments. I'll talk about this. I don't give a fuck. 2 moments, and the beef is since squashed. I'm a beef squasher, right? My problem is I love a good joke. Like, I had a conversation.
it was so funny.
Exactly.
Whatever you were posting, yeah.
There was one I didn't post, which was the funniest one, because I think I did 3, maybe 4, and all of them popped off, and I was like, I don't fucking hate this band. It's just real funny. I'm going to stop. But I had one which was like, you know, the Sleep Token logo, like a black metal logo, you can actually trace the word fart in it. So like I was going to post that and be like, it was right in front of us, guys. But I drew the line at that. So I suddenly got like, I follow the guys in the band, and like, I like the band. And I had one of them like heart react a story I posted where I was like on Twitch, and I was like, what's up? And he was like, oh, I love your stream, man. And I was like, oh, cool. I was like, you do know that I'm joking when I like the fart stuff, like I'm kidding. Yeah. And he was like, no, we're all cool, like we love it, it's fine. And then like the other day, the drummer hit me up because he's got booked for this drum festival thing, and he's in the small room which I played before, which is a 200 cap, and I tweeted on it. I was just like, this is going to be carnage, like 200 capacity. He should be doing
pretty wild.
Yeah, 10 times that.
You play like to 20,000 people
Yeah.
in the UK. You should probably.
I really pissed off the owner of that drum stage. And then the Sleep Token guy messaged me. He was like, I love how you just piss everyone off. And I was like, oh, thanks, bro.
It's great though, because I think there's a lot of us in music who are like afraid to push certain buttons. Like I feel like I'm way less active on social media because I'm just like I just can't. I've like made jokes online, and I mean Twitter is just this like cesspool where it's like some of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, but it also just has the worst people existing at the same time. So
I bowed out of Twitter for any kind of discourse now. I'll just tweet funny shit. And then I just turn, if it's funny and I'm thinking I'm going to get some backlash for this, I'll just turn the notifications off immediately for it. I go, I make a joke, and then I leave. And I feel so much better for it. Because I've got a habit of like, just before I get on a long haul flight, tweeting something insane and being like, yeah. And then I get on the flight and there's no Wi-Fi. I'm like, oh my God, what's going to fucking happen here?
You're like, I'm going to see what dumpster fire.
Yeah, like I come back to it. I don't know why I do it. It's like a weird, like Twitter Tourette's. Just like,
that's hilarious.
Fuck.
No, Twitter is, I can't.
We made friends on Twitter though. That's how we're friends.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. It's always like a cool, you're like a celebrity, I feel like, in the music scene kind of. So it's always cool.
I'm not.
I feel like you are. Yeah. Or I feel like we have a lot of mutual friends, and they always just say awesome things about you. And of course I've seen your drumming, and it's great. So
no one cares about the drumming. It's weird.
I think some people care about the drumming.
Some people. It's kind of cool though, because
musicians.
If I get old as fuck, like hopefully I'll still be able to talk and be like, this motherfucker. That's a pair of Lars drumsticks. Love you, Lars. Come on the podcast. I love you. But
it's Lars drumsticks.
Yeah,
wow.
Have a little practice.
You're a big Metallica fan?
The biggest.
Okay.
It's like my fucking number one, and I will apologize for everything. Saint Anger, I'm an apologist. Like, I'm in. That's kind of a bit, though. We're back after a small break, which will actually bring me to one of my questions. Glass of water there. Mm-hmm. You got a set of pipes on you?
Thanks, man.
Like, are you doing the screaming and the singing?
Yeah.
What's the upkeep there? Like,
it's horrible.
You shouldn't be doing a podcast, surely, if you got to play in fucking 7 hours or whatever.
To be fair, we've had 2 days off, so I'm like, it's fine. It's like a 45-minute set with Pierce. We're moving into hour sets when we get back to the States, and that'll be a little more. I don't know, man. It's a lot of. I have this thing called a vocal mist. Shout out vocal mist. It's this nebulizer.
Look straight into this.
Vocal mist for all singers.
Hey, vocal mist. I'll take some money too.
Yeah.
Tell me about vocal mist.
Yeah, it's this great new technology. No, I
actually don't know what it is. So
no, I'm not. I'm gonna flip sides here and say I kind of thought it was bullshit for a second, because my buddy Garrett and his band Silent Planet got it for me, and he's like you got to use it. It makes a big difference. And I used it on a headliner a few years ago. I still got laryngitis and lost my voice. And to be fair, I was being an idiot at the time and just not looking after my voice. And but then I did a few tours without it, and I was just kind of like, I don't know if I noticed a difference. And then I went to a doctor to have my vocal cords looked at, because I've always kind of like naturally a rasp, and my singing kind of breaks at some point in this cool way. And people were like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, I have no idea. But I was putting off going to see this doctor to look at my chords, because I was like, he's gonna tell me, oh, you got like 80 vocal nodes and your throat's fucked. Yeah. And then I went in, they're like, no, they're in great shape. They're like, there's like no nodules, like nothing's wrong with them. They're like, you're just a little dehydrated, like just drink more water. And then they gave me this sheet, and it was like, you can eat Jolly Ranchers. That helps to like lubricate your vocal cords, which is kind of weird. And then they were like, also nebulizers like vocal mist make a big difference. And I was just like, I use that thing like 3 times a day. I do it in the morning usually. I do it right before we play, then right after we play. I just drink
it. Like a mask thing.
It's it just basically vaporizes this saline solution, and you inhale it, and it's like the only thing that can, because when you're drinking water, it's not actually touching your vocal cords. It's just going into your digestive tract. So when you breathe this thing in, the vapor is actually like, when you overuse your voice, your vocal folds get like inflamed and fatter. And then so if you inhale this thing, and it like offers hydration and moisture, and so they kind of go back down a bit. So I do that. I drink a ton of water. I don't know. It felt like 10 years ago when we started touring, I could like drink and like socialize all the time. And it's just, as I've gotten older, it just hits this weird point where like it sucks, because I think as a singer, people assume like there's an ego coming into place, which is not the case. I doubt myself a ton, and I mean there's so many good singers. It's like, how can you not? But
Yeah.
it's just funny, because I think sometimes there's just days where I'm like, man, my voice is just tired. I'm just not gonna talk a lot today until we play, and then you can feel like, because like your band is maybe doing okay, like you tour with another band and they want to get extra chummy with you, and I'm not giving them the cold shoulder. And sometimes I'll hold up an iPhone note going, I'm not talking today, but sometimes I think it gets misunderstood, like, oh, what, he's like too cool to talk to us, like you can't socialize.
Let me tell you this, it always gets misunderstood. I've been on the other end of that, like, this fucking guy, probably Garrett, this fucking guy.
Garrett overthinks it more than I do.
I had this thought, I think yesterday in the shower, like, I've always in my head, I've gone, okay, drummers have the hardest job, followed by, and followed by whoever, and then I was always like, vocalists have the easiest job. And then, and it was just a load-in thing, like, because you know, load-in. And they don't load in.
I help load in, actually. But you know what's funny?
Bullshit.
I did. I've been literally helping my band load in.
Did you get away with it today because of this?
I did, but to be fair,
this is what this is for, bro. This is getting out of loading.
It is, but I fucked my back up on my birthday about a week ago, and then it affected like how freely I could move when we were playing, and I was like, I don't think I'm loading it anymore.
Sick.
Like I've been doing it since I was 18. I'm like 35 now. Like I'm literally like people. I've toured with bands who are like, is your singer like helping you load in gear? And I'm involved in so many things with the band. I just feel like a piece of shit kind of. It's like all my guys are just picking up heavy things. I'm just like, I sing. So like it just doesn't make sense to me.
I just pay someone else. I just pay for a drum tech. I will not go into all that drum tech anymore. I'm the worst. At 37, bro, I paid my fucking dues. But anyway, I flipped it. Because I was thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking about all the shit that you guys have to do on stage. If the show sucks, you can't just fucking put your head down and play the drums. Like, the show sucks, you still have to act like it's the coolest fucking day of your life. Plus, you got all the upkeep on your voice. Plus, you got, like, exterior variables that will fuck your voice up. Like you said, like, oh, I haven't drank any water, I cannot fucking sing today. Or I get sick. Like, if I get sick, for the most part, I can still play the drums. If you get sick, the song ain't happening.
No, me and my band have talked about that it's like God bless the guys in my group. It's just on the verge of dying. They can still get on stage and play, and there's just times where it's like, and it feels like the elements are all against you for like your voice to chill and recover. Like you don't sleep, your mood. Sometimes it's just your mood. Like I just wake up and I'm like, man, I just wish I was at home with my daughter today, but I'm like in some country, and I mean, but there's a part of playing I love, and most shows are like, they're like the time of my life. But yeah, it's funny. We had a bad show a few days ago, and I was like, okay, I just gotta. Yeah, it's just funny. You just gotta. I just like don't believe in showing it on stage. I'm sure there's other shows though where like you can tell I probably look like I'm having a better time. It's again, God bless Pierce fans, but they just don't drink water. So many of them faint.
Really?
Well, yeah, dude. With like the amount of times we have to like stop our set, like. And then it's like you get a minute into a song, and then it's like, or there's been times where
I'm gonna get cancelled real quick.
You got something to say?
Are people doing this for attention now?
No. You know what was interesting was we did a show the day before, and it was just the lighting rig just wasn't great. We didn't look very cool while we were playing, and it kind of had me in my head. And then this person. They started waving, and that's the thing that frustrates me too. I'll just say publicly is that kids wave sometimes, and it's sometimes hard to discern if it's like a
hello,
like stop, like there's somebody here, and then other times I'm looking and I'm like, oh shit, somebody's fainting, and somebody's just like, and I'm like, don't do that. Like it like sets off a panic in my head, and then or people who they keep writing me messages on their phone, and I'm like, I'm trying to think about
is someone dying?
These really sad lyrics, and then somebody's just like, your drummer's so hot, and I'm just like,
and you have to go like, is this person trying to tell me that someone's passed out? Because you can't. That is a fucking good point, because you can't. Obviously, you need to be told if someone's passed out. That's why security just needs to be good. But it does make you in your own head. I'm the same. If someone's like trying to get my attention when I'm playing, I'm like, fuck, something happened, and then I make 10 million mistakes. And they just wanted to say, can I have drumsticks?
Yeah, like all the ones I've been reading, it's just like, it said something like, you guys equals 1,000 out of 10. And I'm like, that's really sweet. That's really nice. But also like, I'm like singing about my dead dad. Bro. And you're just like, you're like, your drummer's so hot. And I'm like, thanks.
Did you actually get your drummer so hot?
Yeah, it was something like
while
that.
Singing about your dad.
I mean, none of his songs I sing about are fun. So I'm not like in a good place usually while it's happening. But, what I was going to say is, we played this venue and they gave us kind of a list of things and it was like, if you call for a wall of death, we will kill the PA. And we're just not that band anyways. But and then they had another thing where they were like, kids in this area, I don't remember the city. I probably shouldn't even say the city, but they were like, kids in this area have a reputation of trying to get shows stopped mid-set for selfie opportunities. And it completely...
That sucks so bad. Name the city. Name the city.
It was definitely in the UK. No, I don't know if it was Manchester.
Got Manchester vibes about it.
Nottingham? No, not Nottingham.
I used to live in Nottingham.
Okay.
It's not there. They're not good looking enough for selfies. That's really bad. I take that back. Leave it in though, Simon.
It might be Nottingham. I don't know. But it was interesting. So they were like this.
Nottingham Rock City. I think, there's no way. Hell's Angels staff. That's Nottingham Rock City. They're all Hell's Angels.
Oh no, I don't know. It was, anyways. It's just it threw me for a loop because then they explained how security has this system where they have a green card and a red card, and basically if somebody faints because kids stop the shows too much, you have to wait for security to go red card. That kid's fainting, and then you have to stop your set, and then you wait. Then they flash you a green card, and then you can keep going. But
I feel like it is happening more. That's why, like, I obviously was joking. I've left it too long for context. I'm in trouble. But, like, it does seem to be happening more. I don't know if it's people aren't hydrating enough or pits are getting more violent or people need to fucking grow up.
It's super... No, it's
I'm done.
No, it's... I know what you're saying. We've had that talk in our band, too, where it's just kind of like... I mean, if somebody is not safe and they're getting crushed, like we have to cite, it's fine. I don't mind. But yeah, there are times where it's like,
I need a little health bar above everyone though. Like those VR glasses. Get me like fucking those.
That's Apple's next thing.
Yeah. Everyone's playing with the Vision Pro and it has everyone's health
like, that
bar.
guy's at 90. Fuck you. I'm not stopping the show.
Oh, stop the show. I'm at 84. Bro, charge up before you come out. You're fucking good.
I've seen it where they do the wave thing, like somebody's passed out, and I'm like, I stop singing, and the guys are still playing, and I'm like, you guys good over there? And then you can see like the guy holds up his phone, like, I found it. Don't worry. And I'm just like,
bro, I'm not fucking lost and found. I'm trying to sing fucking dark songs.
It's okay. God bless him. You know, it's just it's funny because we've had it happen to. It seems to always happen in the middle of a song, and then we have this weird thing of like,
do we restart the tracks?
Yeah, and you just feel dumb, like just, and then there's been times where they like, dude, it happened on the last song of our set one time, and we were I think 3.5 minutes into the song, and there was a minute left, but there was like this big, heavy part ender, and then we had to stop, and then we were just kind of like, we're done.
Yeah.
I was like, we love you guys. Thanks for watching. I was like, we're not going to start back 3.5 because it's too weird to try and start like, all right, everybody, second verse on the click, ready? Like one. Yeah. It's just.
If anyone's listening and they don't understand why why this is hard, I'm going to explain. See what I mean? This is me in my daddy era where I'm like,
you're educating.
I'm going to teach people so they don't fucking stop the song unless you are nearly dying or passing out. All right. The band, even if they don't have a lot of stuff on tracks, by tracks we mean like additional instruments that you can't possibly have live, additional vocal layers, any of that stuff, they're all on a computer and you press start and then it plays. And once it plays, it's fucking playing until that song is ended or sometimes until the set is fucking ended. So if we have to stop halfway through, the choices are restart the song, which most times isn't happening. Or like play without a click, which you're going to get a bad performance. So just, I've educated you now. Look at you right now. I've educated you now. If you're going to pass out within the first minute of the song. Because we can roll it back.
First 10 seconds would be great.
Yeah. If you could time your passing out 10 seconds in. You want to get dark.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know if you really wanted to get dark. But
I don't feel like...
You mentioned it a couple of times.
There's not a lot that makes me... feel uncomfortable to talk about. So
Dark Sun.
It just happened yesterday. The eclipse.
The eclipse. Is that the title? Is it? What's the title about? Because the artwork's fucking like a cool eclipse thing.
Yeah.
Love that artwork, by the way.
It came out cool. I mean, figuratively, I was just writing a song about my dad after he passed from cancer, and it was just sort of this like, I'm sure you've been there. It's just kind of where you're kind of in just this like black bottomless pit of just like, this is horrible, and it just really, just didn't feel like I would be happy. It's like, it sounds so like ludicrous saying it out loud. It just didn't feel like I would be happy ever again, really. And so I think it just figuratively felt like the sun is just this. It's like, it's bright, everything's great, it's sunny, and everything's chill. And so it was interesting to feel like you could see maybe a glimmer of it like behind a horrible black object, but it was like something to kind of get past. So of course, like, I'm doing okay now. I mean, it is a void that you live with that doesn't really ever seem to go away, and it's kind of it's that saying of like, grief isn't linear, like or linear. Sorry, it's like there's some days where I'm like, death's a part of life. Like it is what it is. His time came, can't change it. And then there's other days where I have a little like keyboard piano at home, and I have a really nice photo of my dad and I at a show I was playing. It was like the most recent nice quality photo I had. And then I have a small portion of my dad's ashes in this kind of like cool jade green sort of urn looking thing. And they're both at my piano and stuff. And it's just funny. Like sometimes, like, some days I'm just like, it's just part of life. Like I'm very zen about it. And then sometimes I'll have a few drinks at home, and then I just start looking at the photo for too long. And then I'm just like, fuck. Like, so it's, yeah, because I don't know if you've had to deal with that. For me, it was my first, it sucks it was him. It was just my first like super significant loss. Like other distant family members have died in my life, and I've just kind of been like, that's crazy. Like that's horrible. But I'm not like, it was never sort of debilitating. And I think with my dad too, it was just sort of this like, doctors were always kind of like, this popped up. We can do this treatment. There's this thing.
What kind of cancer was it, if you don't mind me asking?
He had a cancer in his thyroid glands, like here. But then his cancer ended up spreading, and I didn't know this either until it happened. But basically, like when your cancer, what they say is metastasizes, and it spreads to other parts of your body, like you're fucked. Like there's no.
Oh yeah. No,
it's just a matter of time, basically. So it started popping up in like his brain, his spinal cord, his lungs, and then it just hit this weird point where they were like, it was so weird too, because it was like my daughter was born in like January of 21, and then like a month later they were telling, it was like just this super dark. I think you should just be comfortable, because he had a tumor growing in his spinal cord, like here, and it was causing him a lot of neck pain, and they were basically like, it was just like there was no perfect answer to the situation. They were essentially like, we can operate on it to try and take it out, and it might extend your life by a couple months if we do it, but it might paralyze you during the surgery from the neck down. And they were like, because it's also kind of like holding your spinal cord together. And then they were like, but so if we leave it alone, you'll die faster. They're like, but there's also a chance it might just slip out at one point if we don't operate it and paralyze you anyway. And it was just this kind of like, they basically were like, he probably has like 3 to 6 months to live. And it was, I think we heard that, in February, and he died in July. So it was a very like, but it's hard too, because when they stop, because I mean, the nice thing is he was taking just medication after medication to subdue his cancer. And then it was like, oh, well, you can stop taking it now because you're kind of accepting your fate. So the shitty thing is your body starts feeling better temporarily. And my dad was just stubborn old, like, I think those doctors are wrong. Like, I feel fucking awesome. And like, I feel great. And then it didn't start getting real until I would try and bring my daughter I lived in LA at the time, and he's in Orange County. It's like a 40-minute commute. And I would try and bring my daughter to like hang out with him. And I would always bring him like just food, just like lunch or dinner. And I brought him food one time, and he kind of like barely picked at it. And I was just sort of like, which isn't his style. And I was just like, did the food suck? Or like, you didn't like it? And then he's like, no, I just like don't really have an appetite lately. And then he was technically on something called like in-home hospice. He just had a few nurses come check on him a couple times a week, and they give you a packet for like a preparation of end of life. And so I just started skimming it. And then it said like, yeah, like when patient's body is like preparing to die, it stops like burning energy. So like, yeah, like calories, it's like you don't need them anymore. So it's just that was kind of when he was barely picking at his food, and then I was just sort of like, oh shit, this is,
Man,
it just didn't feel super real until it got to that point. And then I'd see him like every week in between that. And then every week I saw him, it was like, oh, he's just like rapidly losing weight. I would just see him and I'd be like, it wasn't a mean thing. It just internally, I was like, you look horrible, dude. Like this isn't good. And so I think it's kind of nice though, because I feel like we got to have not a good chat, but because I saw it coming, I just sort of said, there were times in our relationship where I felt like I lived with him for a long time, and I felt like we, towards the end of living together, just got like at each other's throats sometimes.
Like you do living with anyone.
Yeah, it's like too much of anything is bad. And I love my dad, he loved me, but yeah, we hit these pockets where it'd be like nothing, and we would just get in an argument over something. And then I moved out, and then like I saw him a week after I moved out, and then we were like laughing and everything was fine. I was like, yeah, it's just because we were on top of each other for like 10 years. But I felt lucky that I had the chance to talk to him and kind of tell him like, hey, I'm really sorry if I was like short tempered with you sometimes. And I feel like I could have been more patient, with certain things. And just told him like very deep, like weird things you probably like, don't talk to your dad about, or at least that era of dads. I think that it was just a very like, you don't talk about your feelings and like, shut up. But it was good to have that kind of open honesty with each other. But it was, I ended up, the whole album isn't about my dad, but like, I think like 5 songs are about him. I wrote this song called Neon Grave, and I was like, that'll be like my dad song sort of thing. And then
You wrote that first.
Yeah. And then it was kind of like, oh, I didn't even fit in like nearly kind of all the things I was experiencing. And it was hard to squeeze it into like that 3 or 4 minute song. So I ended up writing, Dark Sun, the title track. Dream State was about like these dreams I was having about him after he passed, where it like really felt like we were communicating. There's a song called Parallel that was pretty, I don't know. It's a cool song, but I think it's too sad. I wrote it about, the chorus is like the concept of my dad being alive and well in like a parallel universe. But then the verses are super kind of graphic about my experience watching him die in hospice. And so it's a cool song, but we like finished the album and I was like, I think that's too sad. I actually think sometimes I've looked back on our music and been like, maybe we need to like tone it down a little, because I don't want to like alienate it. Where I've just seen comments of people go like, I can only listen to this band sometimes.
And also you've got to fucking sing them all on stage. You have to revisit that place mentally so many times. Like I've seen it where Architects not playing Gone with the Wind anymore. Like, because they just fucking can't put themselves back into that place.
That's super fair.
You mentioned, like, I don't know if you've ever gone through this. So I got 2 like adjacent things. So Tom Searle, very good friend of mine, died. And that.
Sorry to hear that.
I mean,
I was shocked. Dude.
I'm sorry for yours as well. But it's like watching someone die in a hospice is the most insane thing ever. Like, and luckily I've had family members, like you said, I've had family members that are, at least 2 steps removed. So I've never really had that fucking real punch in the gut. I've mainly had like, I was a kid and it's just like, oh, old people die. Like, this sucks. Old people die.
Yeah, it's not fun, but it's like, you're 90.
But then watching someone die in a hospice is absolutely horrific. Not that it's worse or better, but like watching someone your age die like that.
I was gonna say he was like 28 or something.
Yeah,
right?
It's fucked me up for life. I have health anxiety now. All the boys do. Like every time I get a stomach ache, I'm like, well, this is it. It's just because you just don't think like
you get this sharp pain in your heart. And it hurts to breathe for a second. You're like, oh fuck, it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that one. Give me a fucking quick one. But like watching, because it also moved to his spine, and like watching someone with spinal cancer is not nice. Like having to get, I don't know if this is too fucking personal to go into, but like having to get like massages for his legs because his legs are going numb because of the fucking spinal cancer, and watching him deteriorate, because obviously I live like reasonably far away. Come see him and then come back next month and like you said, just a shell. And then you think, oh, it can't go any much more than this. It's like, oh, he's in the hospice. You just come down, and you come down, and it's like, oh my God, this is just.
Yeah, that's man, that's intense. I'm sorry. I didn't know you knew him that well. To be fair, it's funny. I like Architects. They're like big. Their music's crazy good.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just he just felt like this innovative. He was just writing stuff in metal and hard. I feel like metal and hard rock got stale, where it was just like chuggy chugs. Like, and it was just kind of like, I'm over it. And then he was just doing this really cool, like beautiful melody, but still
fucking
like
changed it.
Yeah, he did. And like everybody was just kind of like, oh, how can I write a song that sounds like either the like Sam from Architects, or how can I write instrumentally just these like and like speed like reverb guitar in the background and stuff. And it was no, he was a very like, you hear sometimes like musicians who die and you're just kind of like, that's nuts. Like all right, I've heard of that band. He was a very like,
it's crazy though. I've got,
because they canceled a tour, and I remember I was like, oh man, that's crazy. Like, I hope everything's okay. And then when they announced that was the reason, I was just like, dude, he was so young, and just it's just, I don't know, it's such a dark thing. You're just like, of all the musicians who could have been taken too early, that's like this guy who was like just like an innovative, like I would have been so, I'm not trying to bum you out. I just personally as a fan would have been so excited just to see creatively like where his mind would have gone with writing, like as they evolved. And I mean, they've still held it together. So like, it's really admirable, but it is just very like, that one hurt. I didn't know of a guy. I don't know any of those guys. And when I saw that one, I was like, that hurts me. That's really, really shitty.
It's weird because I toured with Architects from 2011 to 2016, like drum tech. So they're like my fucking boys.
Wild. So you were around for like the, what's that song? Early Grave? Is that the song?
So I joined the record after that. So Early Grave was on Hollow Crown. They just started just finished Hollow Crown when I joined. But so like, I was there for the whole, like, them playing venues smaller than you were about to play tonight, like, and they're my fucking boys. But like,
I wonder if you were on a tour. They were, God, I forgot who they were out with. I had never heard of them before, and I saw them at the Glass House in Pomona, and I feel like they were out with like Bring Me, which is wild to think of Bring Me.
I think it was like Bring Me, Suicide Silence. There was like definitely some weird fucking metal tour they did.
Yeah, I don't know, but I heard them play Early Grave live, and it just hit that bridge part with like the dun 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 dun. And I remember live, I was like, what? Like,
yeah, fucking genius.
Yeah, and I found Hollow Crown after that, and I was like, I can't believe I've like never heard of these guys. And then, look at them now.
No, it's a weird one because like, it made me. I don't know. I'm such a more. I've talked about this on the podcast more. I'm a way more spiritual person because of it. Because shit happened after it and during it and even post it. Like, I see in Dan, like Tom now, and I don't know if it's because they're twins, but I don't know if it's because even like intellectually and emotionally, I'm like, it's like a bit of Tom is in Dan now. And I don't know if it's just because I don't see Tom anymore. And it's just like, oh, you remind me of Tom because obviously you're fucking brothers. It's such a fucking weird thing. But like, other than the health anxiety, I fully am like, it's a weird one. I like, part of me is always just like, oh, one of my boys knows what happened after this. Like, after this world. And I think about it all the time. I'm like, he fucking knows. Like, there might be nothing, he doesn't know. But there might be something and he fucking knows. Like, it's a weird, almost comforting thing. Like, someone I know knows what happens.
It kind of, yeah. It was, man, it was interesting because I don't know if I was like going to talk about this a ton. I was close to this girl who told me about her experience in seeing this medium in Orange County. So I actually went to see this guy to like just kind of see what happens. And it was just a very like very strange experience. He's booked out like 6 months, like, and I think he's like $400 for an hour. So I mean, he's just like,
when was this story?
Yeah, there was this interesting thing where she like. Basically, my friend, it was weird. My friend's dad passed, I think, like the day after mine did. And then she tried to go see this guy immediately. And then he made a comment like, if there's somebody who like didn't come through you wanted to come through. He's like, I feel like it takes their spirits a certain amount of time after they pass to kind of find their footing and realize what's going on. He's like, I feel like 6 months to a year is a little more of like a healthier time frame, and then longer it gets kind of clearer. And so I think I waited like a year after he passed, and then I booked, and then he was like 6 months booked out. So I think I was a little jaded going in because they ask for your name and stuff, and it's like,
You can fucking Google it.
yeah, it's just, for me, it's just, it's not like, if you look up anything about me, it's pretty easy to find out. Like, my dad had cancer and he died.
Yeah.
But it was, it was pretty interesting. He definitely brought up somebody who would have been my dad, and he was like, if I was a closet, or like, just like, I didn't talk about my life at all on social media, and they didn't know shit about my life, and he was saying the stuff he was saying, it was pretty strange, because he was just like, I think he brought up my uncle who died, which was pretty weird.
Is that on the internet? Anywhere?
Super deep. But it was also
Still,
very...
if that's your job, though, you can fucking
Yeah.
I just got to Google this guy. He's in later on. Ooh, juicy. I'll talk about that.
He didn't, to be fair, he wasn't like, oh, this guy's name is Rory, and he was shot. He was just kind of like, he's like, yeah, looks like a guy in his 20s. And he was basically saying, like, if this person's standing on this side of you, they're from your dad's side. If they're on this side, they're from your mom's side. So he brought up some like women. I haven't lost a ton of people on my mom's side and the women's side, but he brought up some people where I was like, I don't know, maybe. Like, it was like, my grandma died, but we weren't close.
Yeah.
And then when he got into the dad stuff, he was just kind of like, he's like, yeah, there's just this kind of, he's like, this guy's like kind of in his 50s. He's like, but he's like, sometimes they project the image of themselves past death that they felt was like the best time of their lives. He's like, but there's this guy patting your shoulder saying like, that's my boy. And he was just kind of like, I don't know. He's like, I'm looking at this guy, and he's like, I'm getting this impression that he had a lot of health issues, and he was kind of just ready for the pain to stop. And he's like, I think he kind of used this analogy. Like, he's like, it seems like this guy was kind of like a really old, beaten down car, where it's sort of like there's so many things going wrong on the inside, but the car looks okay from the outside. He's like, and I think he hit a lot of how he was actually feeling from you while he was experiencing these things. And then he brought up, somehow he got into music, and because my dad was a singer, and he was like, he's really connected to you through music. And he's like, do you have like a piano at home? I was like, I have like a keyboard. He's like, I think you should like, he's like, I think that's a good place for you two to like kind of connect to one another now. So that's why I have the picture and the stuff.
I'm so torn about this, because I'm like, this motherfucker's either making
know.
$400 an hour to Google shit, or this is real shit.
I think honestly, the thing that gives me pause is my friend's experience. Is she's not very open about a lot of stuff, and the weird thing was like she had an older brother who died of a drug overdose like 10 years ago, and her dad, who died, that she was trying to go see, her dad went to this same guy to try and talk to his son who had overdosed, and I guess this guy's love language was like bringing food to parties and stuff. So at some point during the session with dad, he's like, he put out like a bowl of like Doritos in front of you. Like, do you kind of know what that's about? And then my friend went to see this medium after her dad died, and her dad didn't come through, but the same brother did. And she's like, and I don't think the guy knew that her and her dad were related. And then she's like, oh, there's this guy, he just put a cake out in front of you. Like, do you kind of know what that's about? And then there was weirder stuff where she had a really hard time, but she had an ex-boyfriend who died of a drug overdose also. And the guy was just saying like, I don't want to say her name, but he had a cassette tape tattoo with her name on it. And he's like, he has a tattoo here. He's like, and it says your name like on the inside of it. And he was like, and he was like saying things to her like very specific ways of saying like, I love you, that only they would say. And he's like, he just said like, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And it was just kind of I think that's the only reason I went, is because her experience was so over the top, undeniable, because you can't post
Google
stuff like that online. But with mine, I was definitely like, you can find out all this if you Googled it. It was still an interesting experience, but I think I was just kind of thinking about, because I think we all just want to know, like, are you good somewhere, or is it just like a black.
Is it nothing?
It's
Yeah.
nothing. And then this guy's just like making so
Making
much money off of people's pain.
I mean, I'll throw mine in here. This is the single most crazy thing that's ever happened to me in my fucking life. I think I've only spoken about it on the podcast once, so we might get people, if you're bored of this story, it's my grief, okay? So you're fucking rude. Dan Searle, Tom's brother,
Yeah.
his, you would call it a bachelor party, we would call it a stag do. We went to somewhere like in Cornwall, the beautiful edge of the country. It's the first night, we're going out for drinks. We go up to this top of this like cliff top thing where you can see a beach, and we're all there and we're smoking a joint, and it's a real quiet, somber moment for some reason. And I'm finding myself, I'm thinking about Tom should be here. Like, it wasn't that long after Tom died, and Dan's getting married. So in my head, I'm like, Tom should be here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just sat fucking having a little think about that.
Yeah.
Everyone's quiet. No one's saying a word. Beach is down. This is 100% fucking true story. Beach is down a cliff. Beach, sea. No one on the beach. We're just there smoking a joint. Everyone's just, slight chit chat, but everyone's quite somber. A kid comes onto the beach and writes in huge letters across the sand the name Tom. It is, I got fucking literally all the hairs just fucking stood up. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen. And no one said a fucking word. It was like the whole beach. He wrote his name in, like, someone's got a photo of it. I don't want to like get the photo and put it on the podcast.
Yeah.
I might message them. And no one really said anything. And then everyone was just like, should we go to the bar? And then we went to the bar, and then everyone just went, well, that was really fucking weird. And like everyone was talking about how they were thinking about Tom at that moment. And it's just, I can't fucking explain it. Obviously you can explain it. Like, it's a very common name, but like, bro, that's fucking,
the timing is strange
it's
for sure. Yeah.
so insane that no one else on the beach. And it, like, ever since that moment, I was like, I was a strict atheist until that moment. And now I'm just like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Who does though? It's kind of the weird part of being alive. But I think
Have you got any religious bone in your body? What you got?
no. I think it's. I think I was like. I think I'm still agnostic. I don't know.
I feel like that's where I am now.
I'm just a pussy sitting on the fence. I
mean, it's not a political war, so
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not like.
It's yeah. I just I think a lot of organized religion gets it wrong, and I think they just focus on the things that fit their own personal agenda. And I think for me, some of the worst people I've met have been devout Christians, and I think Garrett from Planet is a really good example of somebody where he's like a Christian who it just adheres to, like, you just love everybody and treat everybody with kindness, and that's kind of like the point.
He's the good one. More of
He
him.
is,
Give
yeah.
us more of him.
Oh yeah, I might be a Christian if everybody was like that, but they're not. Like, it's I don't know. So it's
I like the concept of like the nice Christian, but like the story and the like parallels with different other religions. I'm like, I get it as a concept for being nice to people, but in my head I'm like, this didn't happen. So, but like in terms of like the realm beyond death, I'm 100% agnostic. I'm like, I don't fucking know anymore. Like, and that's kind of cool. And I have a buddy that knows.
I don't know. Yeah, it is. I think they said they've done like scientific studies that your energy, like you can measure energy leaving the body and then like going somewhere outside of the
Yeah,
body.
I think
But
it's
like
like the 21 grams thing or whatever it is. I think it's 21.
oh yeah, like the body weighs a little less after they die. Yeah,
It's kind of fucking sick.
I don't know, man. Yeah, who knows? It's okay. Honestly, I feel like probably in relation to my dad and to Tom in your situation, it's like for my dad, him dying was definitely very sad. But I don't want to pry into what it was like for Tom. For my dad, he wasn't conscious for a few days before he died, and I think he wasn't taking certain medication that he needed, and so he was having like seizures and shit like the last 2 days he was alive. And so it was weird because he'd be flailing and his eyes would be open, and then he'd kind of just go back to lying down. And then the first time it happened, I was like, oh, his body is like dying, like it's happening. And then it happened like 2 more times after that. And I was just like,
Oh, no one
and
wants to see that.
and his breathing was just so like, so labored. It was just, yeah, I mean, it's a dark image in my head, but I think that it sounds horrible, but when he died, there was a weird kind of sigh of relief for him. Cause I was like, whatever death is, it's probably more peaceful than your body giving out on you and like fighting to stay alive. So it was kind of, I imagine it, I don't want to pry into that, but I'm sure it was probably the same for Tom, where it's like whatever he was experiencing at the end of his life, death is probably more peaceful at the end of the day, but it's still so sad, especially like, I mean, I feel like I had more time with my dad. 72. My dad died when he was 72. I still am like, you played a lot of music. You had a good life. Like, you know, you had like 4 kids, and then I do think Tom's it just feels like he was just robbed of a lot, you know. But
sometimes I think I don't want to do the whole fucking podcast on death, but we have.
I know. I'm like, we should probably go to happy.
Well, I mean, we can't because I've still got 2 questions on Dark Sun. I've got a weird thing as well where I'm like, you know, Tom was such a fucking trailblazer, and like he changed fucking metalcore, and therefore metal. And I like sometimes part of my brain is like, these people are too good for the earth, and I'm like, that's why they get gone. Like, it's so weird. You got like Chuck from the band Death, who changed death metal and therefore changed progressive metal and stuff. Dead, brain tumor. I'm like, what is it? Like, if you got too much fucking good shit
Mercury,
in you,
yeah,
like, just like, or there is some sort of afterlife, and they're all watching, and they're like, kind of fancy that guy here. Yeah, like, let's get a fucking show. Freddie, boom, you're in. Kind of into metal now. Tom, come on. You mentioned so like the concept of Dark Sun, of like, you know, what the sun, what appears to be like happy, whatever, being masked.
Yeah, it's just light and dark. Like, there's a glimmer of it.
Is the title track on purpose so fucking happy sounding musically? It's like a fucking pop song.
Yeah, it is. It's like the only song we wrote on the album that we structured like an EDM song, sort of, where we kept trying to do like, oh, there's a big chorus, and I'm doing this crazy melody, and then everything we were trying just sucked. We didn't like it, and then eventually got into what ended up becoming the chorus. But it's just, it's like the chorus is like the hook of like the synth playing over this stuff. But
was it conscious decision?
No, it just happened that way. It was just very like, it is funny thinking about it now, though. Like, it is the most.
It sums up the artwork. It sums up the whole the whole thing.
I think there's a funny appeal to it because it's like it's like a bop, but you're like, this is really fucking dark.
That's what I mean. It's like, this like emotionally sucks, but it's fucking banging.
Dude, it's a sad, but
I thought it would have been
one of my
purpose.
favorites to play live because it's so chill vocally. And I'm just kind of cruising, and then it's just a fun, like, it's just cool. It's just a very like dancey rock song live. So it's we're not smart enough to make that choice, but it is funny that it ended up that way. We did that.
We did that on purpose. Light and dark. Dream state. So you mentioned there were vivid dreams that you were having after he passed.
Yeah.
Can you share one or any of that?
I think the one that hit me, it was kind of weird. It's because sometimes it's dreams and people have died. It's like, there were ones I had of him where I was like, this is nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. And then, I don't know. It's weird. There's like this weight you can feel. I don't want to rob my guy of this story either, but my drummer, Zach, it was wild. His mom died of cancer, I think like a year or 2 after my dad died of cancer. And he had a really similar dream where he like walked in a field with her and they talked for a minute and he woke up. And it's hard to describe, but it's like he felt a true weight after it. And I've had dreams of my dad where like we're at a mall or something and it's just bullshit. And then I wake up and I'm like, that was weird, but I don't feel anything. And then I had a dream that I was at my dad's, his funeral had already happened, of course, but I was at his funeral, but it was we were having it at a bar, and I sang at my dad's funeral this cover of Stand By Me, because there's just a weird inside thing there, but and then in the dream my brother was singing instead, and I was like, damn, he killed it. And And I remember, I had this dream where I was at this like bar top table with my family, and I was kind of just like, I wasn't crying. I just kind of had my head in my hands, and then like somebody put their hand on my shoulder, and then I looked up, and it was my dad, and I just kind of like lunged at him and hugged him really tight, and it was just this weird reality to live in where in the dream things are happening and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, oh, cool, we get to like, his funeral is like, it's like our last hang, like we get to hang out one more time. And I don't know, my brother was talking to him and he's just like, do you have anything you want to say? My dad was just like, yeah, I just I love him and I'm really proud of him and all this stuff.
That's
and then
really fucking
I just woke up and then just crying, and it just
I was gonna cry right there.
It's hard to describe. It's just, there was like this energy that in me that just it kind of fucked with my head, and like, was that real?
Was it like melancholy? I can't relate to this specifically. My dad had cancer, but thank God he fucking beat it. But I can't relate to this.
Awesome.
Oh, man, it was fucking... this is a whole nother dark thing, but like, he got cancer in the darkest moment of my life when I was like, I'm going to pack this in. And then that happened, and I was like, I kind of can't pack this in. So it's actually fucking sick.
You're like, oh, it's about you now, huh?
Yeah, but that was great. But I have, what I was going to ask, like, did you wake up and like have a weird melancholy, like you had seen him? Because I can't relate to it as a person, but my old dog, who isn't dead, I just don't see anymore, right? I still, less now, but I used to have dreams where we'd just go on a walk, and I'm not comparing your fucking dad to a dog.
It's the same
but
thing.
I would wake up. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
No, I would wake up from this walk that I had with my old dog that I fucking loved to bits. And it was a weird melancholy, like, oh, I felt like I just saw her. Like it was like nice. I was sad, but it was like, I felt like I just got fucking hanging.
Yeah, exactly the same. Yeah. Your dog and my dad, exactly the
No,
same.
I
And the
don't wanna
emotions
fucking
surrounding
offend- I
and the
don't wanna-
emotions surrounding it.
I don't
exactly.
want to offend
no,
you.
no,
There. I just meant
I'm
was kind of like nice.
I'm just kidding. No,
No, it wasn't. It was absolutely horrible.
You hit the nail on the head. It was exactly that. It was a super profound kind of sadness, but like felt cool in a way because I think up until then I was just sort of like, damn, is just nothing happening? Is that what happens after death? And I think that was my only real like kind of glimmer into, oh man, maybe like he's okay, or I don't know, maybe he's talking to me. I don't know. Because like I said, I had other dreams where they felt like kind of distorted, weird, altered versions of things that had already happened. And I would wake up and be like, it was weird. But I didn't really feel anything. I was just kind of like, and then that was like one of the only dreams I had where, I just woke up and I was just like, fuck, like that was different. It was the same thing. I told my drummer about that, and he told me how he had that. I think it's the same for him. Like he's had dreams about his mom maybe that seemed less significant, and he woke up and was just like, this is weird. And then he had that dream of walking through the field with her and just woke up like very emotional. And it's just like, you just feel like there's a weird weight to it. So
I really want to stress that I was not comparing my dog that is still alive. I just meant at the time I woke up feeling like I'd seen that animal. Whereas I sometimes, like you say, I feel really bad for that.
No, it's all good.
I feel really fucking bad.
No, I'm just kidding around.
We've got to talk about this acoustic thing, Replica. What's the deal? Is it all features? Because there's a lot, or features and covers? What's the deal? Sell it to me. Sell it to everyone.
Sell me this pen.
Sell me this pen.
I had an idea initially, like, it'd be kind of sick if we had a different feature. And then I had a bunch of people lined up, and then I just started feeling like, I think it's just kind of overkill. So yeah, we basically, I don't know. That's how I got into music. I was just kind of like a singer songwriter vibe. So I'm really comfortable on an acoustic guitar and just myself. And I don't know, we just kind of tweak these versions of these songs in ways. And I was lucky enough to have like a lot of cool people on it. You're seeing Lucas tomorrow. Lucas is on it.
Who you got? Give me the run. Caleb's on it.
Yeah, Caleb from Parenthood.
Love that guy.
Dude, he just like, one of my favorite people I've met through music recently.
Sweetheart.
Yeah, you're my new guy after it.
Am I?
Caleb. Yeah,
really?
yeah,
Even
yeah.
after the dog dad thing.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
But no, all of Beartooth, honestly, it's like sometimes you tour with bands where you're like, they're amazing and I really like them, but you don't like talk a ton past touring, and there was just something about Beartooth where it was like, oh, we're all like best buds.
I
And it's
love
just
touring
weird.
with that band so
Yeah,
much.
they're like, I think it's because they're such cool people outside of playing, but I think watching them play, I'm like, I gotta step my shit up. Like, this is kind of fucking insane. Yeah, Caleb's awesome. And then there's this girl, her name is Amber De La Rosa. She's in this band called Moxie, the band.
I know the band.
Yeah, a little bit like on the smaller side, but I found they put out a full length thing, I think in 2022, and it was like, it's like wall to wall. The whole album is so good, and I don't find that like with bands I like even. So we toured with them a few years ago, or not even like a year and a half, but anyways, yeah, amazing singer. She's like so much character in her voice. So we just had those three people. I definitely tried with a few other people in like more like notable bands, but sometimes just we had to like get this album out. Some of them are like, I'm on tour for like another 6 months. So.
Who do you regret not getting? Who was in the lineup? Why? You've got one. You've got one.
I don't know if I should call them out.
Well, they say no, or they're just too busy. You don't have to call someone out. You can say this person couldn't do it, or just give me some juice.
We almost had Noah from Bad Omens on a song.
When was this written?
When was it written?
As in, like, when did you write the acoustic song and ask him to be on it? Because they just fucking blew up. I'd be surprised that you can get.
No, they were very popular already by the
yeah.
time. Yeah, because we had already toured together, and Noah's a really sweet guy. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's just like I was on tour up until a certain point, and then I had like a few weeks to finish this record, and then I think they were going to Mexico, and he had like this like 3-day pocket that we were trying to make work, and it was just like too tight, and it was just like just couldn't happen. It would have been really cool, maybe someday, but he was very nice about it. It's but I just feel like I see that a lot where people tag our bands and they're like, you guys should sing something together, and I was like, it was like almost there, but
yeah, it would have been fucking
one day,
huge.
yeah,
as well.
it's okay.
He's sort of like almost a sleep token, like, because he's just not on the internet anymore. I'm like, I see
Good
it.
for him, man.
Yeah, I see it, and I'm like, this is the thing though. If I wasn't on the internet all the fucking time, that's why I came back to Twitter. I'd have no job. People want me to be on the fucking internet constantly, so I'm like, I'm just in this now. But like, I see him, and I'm like, oh, that must be kind of sick. Like, you could just fucking do your thing, and then you just disappear.
It's funny. I've talked about this with somebody else too. It's like, I think there's times of it's not jealousy. There's just definitely times of envy where it's like this new standard has been set as a band where it's like Bad Omens announces a tour, it's sold out in a day. Sleep Token announces a tour, it's sold out in like 10 minutes. And then it's funny, like we'll announce a headlining thing, and it felt like we're going out, this tour we're doing in September has sold like 24,000 tickets in the US, and it's like most of it's probably going to sell out, but like because it didn't sell out in the first day, you feel like your band is like shit.
Yeah,
and it's just sort of like,
it's weird because this never used to happen until like these two.
Yeah, but I think what I've realized though, and again, it's like, it's no disrespect to their fans. I think they had a trajectory that blew up. I think it wasn't all TikTok, but I think a lot of things were factored in. But I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I want a meteoric rise like that personally, where you're just like, it's like we're kind of known right now, and people are like, they're a band, it's cool, and then like in a year, they're like putting my birth certificate online. It's like, I don't want that level. Or like I'm like, it was like I toured with like Silverstein, and I was like, man, it's like I'm not saying this in a way that's like mean. It's just, I think every band is kind of like, what's the next big peak as we go? Like, how do we keep growing? And I'm always kind of like, I want to play bigger venues and bigger. And then it's like, with Silverstein, when we were supporting them, they were doing like 1,500 to 2,000 tickets a night. And I remember being like, damn, I don't know if Silverstein ever really got into like the arena, like headlining kind of phase of their career. And I remember going like, I wonder if that like makes them sad. And then I kind of was like, you know what though? They've been a band for like 20 years and they're still pulling like 2,000 people. Like, that's amazing.
If you can tour 3 times a year to 2,000 people, you got money. That's good money.
Yeah. And I think it just gave me a different perspective where I think you're always kind of looking like, success is fun and it's cool to see people care about your band, but I'm also like, I don't think I need like, I don't think I need that. Yeah. I don't think I need that level of fame that like Sleep Token and Bad Omens, like, God bless them. I'm sure it's incredible.
Unless you've got a mask, then it's probably awesome.
Yeah. I mean, but then it's like you can Google and find out who any of those guys are.
I wonder though. I always wonder this because like Slipknot, when Slipknot came out, we're old enough to remember when Slipknot came out. First album almost the whole album cycle, it was they're completely anonymous. And then it was, I think, Iowa that we found out who they were. And I'm like, and I know what I'm like. I got a fucking ego. Like, I might come across like a fucking super Zen master, which I definitely don't. But I got a fucking insane ego. And I'm like, I wonder if I could do it. I wonder if I could do the mask without being like, by the way, guys, it's me. I wonder if that's coming.
I've thought about that too. I'm like, I wonder if they have a planned arc for their band where they're like, we're just going to show what we look like.
Otherwise, as I think about it with like Ghost, and I think about it with other bands where it's like, Sleep Token's more, I know it's the singer and the drummer that writes everything, I think. I'm sure the other guys write stuff as well, but with Ghost in particular, I fucking love Ghost. I'm a Ghost apologist. You can treat people pretty badly. And like, I'm not saying he did, but there's like ex-disgruntled members, like ex-guitarist of Ghost or anything like that. Like you can get, if you're anonymous, you can get kicked out and then have no career. Whereas like if Sleep Token, and I'm not saying this does happen, but if Sleep Token's names and personalities were out there a little bit now, if there was anyone getting kicked out or anything like that, they could then go and have a successful career. Whereas totally. I think if fucking 4 got kicked out now, is there one called 4? There must be. Is there 4? Vessel?
I think it's Vessel, and then I think it's 1, 2, 3.
The guitarist is 4.
Who's one?
Interesting.
Who's one? Is that just Vessel? Is it 2?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so it's Vessel to 4.
The ego.
The IMDb.
I am Vessel
ratings.
and I am 1.
I'm a Vessel. I am 1.
We don't say it out loud. But
I wonder if 4, like you could kick 4 out tomorrow, and the guy would be like, "Hey, I used to be 4 in Sleep Token." And I'm like, yeah, right.
You know what's funny about that is this guy messaged me one time, and it was just in my request on Instagram. But he's like, "Hey man, I'm a songwriter out of somewhere in the UK," and he just was like. He's like, I would love to do some songwriting with you. He's like, I used to play like bass or guitar in Sleep Token or something. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious that you could just be a total nobody. You do.
I know who that guy is.
But it was so funny to me that I was like, it's just like anybody could do that. You know, I played in Sleep Token for a little bit. It's
there was a time because of like when I did reaction videos, and this is actually back to your point about like I care more about longevity than I do meteoric rise. In the pandemic, I did the reaction videos and I got 40,000 more YouTube subscribers, but I fucking hated it. And I hated people being known for the reaction shit. And back to our other story about like, there's 100 people's different perceptions of you. There was people that hated me because they'd watch a reaction video where I didn't like the drummer and they're just like, oh, this guy's a fucking piece of shit. And I was like, oh, I'm just not going to put it out there. So the reaction I did to Sleep Token popped off so much.
What song did you react to?
I don't know. I got no idea. But like, because I was, he's a fucking amazing drummer. So it was all positive. And crazy, the best thing about it, he didn't edit his drums. So I was just like, I'm trying to educate people that this is fucking real drumming. And the same when he did Drumeo, he didn't edit his drums. Big fucking respect. But because of that video popping off so much, there was a time when you Googled Sleep Token drummer and it said it was me. Because I was the only name associated with it. It was fucking awesome.
I feel like you could play his stuff.
I'd do it. I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
It'd be so fucking obvious though. Like, who's this fucking kind of fucking chunky guy now behind the kit? But he writes everything. I'd fill in. I don't think he's getting kicked out. I'm not saying the others would get kicked out.
He's chilling. It's the
ghost drummer could get kicked out tomorrow. I'd also do that. Tobias. I'll fucking do that. I'd love to do that.
Shout out Ghost. Yeah.
Fucking love a bit Ghost. I love just a pop hook. Love a pop hook. You love a pop hook. Oh shit. Evanescence. Amy Lee.
Yeah.
Stoked on your song?
Crazy. Yeah.
What happened?
That was something where it's not, I'm not like saying anything bad about our label. Just sometimes they're like, oh, we're going to like pass the song along to this person. And you're like, yeah, sure. And then so they said they knew somebody at their management and they were going to pass along the song. And I was just kind of like, yeah, that sounds great. Like, sure. And then they like sent that email and it was like the day before the song came out. They were like she really likes it and they're gonna like post it from their socials tomorrow. And I was still kind of like, sure she does, like sounds great. And then they posted it from their social media and I was like, that's fucking crazy. That's really so really cool. So yeah, that one came out nice. What's funny is
was it My Immortal?
Yeah. We almost did Ghost of You by My Chemical Romance instead because I always just thought that would make a cool cover. And then our producer Dan Bronstein pulled up, I think, the streams for My Immortal on Evanescence. He's like, bro, he's like, this song is like, he's like, Ghost of You is great. He's like, that song is like an iconic. He's like, it's just, you'll get way more traction and recognition probably. So yeah, it came out awesome. We kind of laid down like a rough of it in a couple hours and was like, oh, there's like something really cool here. So yeah, probably my favorite cover we've done.
Is that the only cover on? Mm-hmm. So it's reimagined songs and one cover.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The other 9 are all original songs, but
is it fucking 10? It's a 10. It's a full album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I think it's cool. It's very, if you want a very chill, sad, just kind of city and color vibe.
Did you do all of it?
Yeah.
Literally just the You show. What's that royalty split if you did all of it?
It's a lot to me too. To be fair,
I fucking love putting people on the spot with that question because their face just dropped. I can't remember who I did it with recently and we had to cut it out. I can't remember. It was someone and I was like, what's that royalty split saying?
I don't care. They know. To be fair, I think I always give them something.
You nearly said more. I always give them more than they're fucking worth.
No, it's just I just want all of them to get some type of income outside of touring. And so it's interesting hearing I've met some guys in bands who are like, we're a band, it doesn't matter if it's one guy writing it, we split it like 5 ways. And I'm like, I don't agree with that at all. But
that's what we do. And
yeah.
It's not, I mean, it's good. Sometimes, I'll tell this story now. Just
do you feel like the scales are imbalanced though sometimes when it comes to writing?
No, not even that. We had a recent thing. We were in the studio. This album, we're doing it in 2 goes. We went and wrote it and tracked everything except the drums and the vocals. And then next time we're going back to track the drums and do all the vocals. Mm-hmm. Me and Tom, I'm kind of throwing people under the bus here. I might edit this out. I don't know. Me and Tom obviously did a lot of work before that first session. Mm-hmm. We did fucking shitloads. And then in the session, you know, because it's just the music. It was not that many of us doing the actual music. And then I wanted to go home early because I was like, guys, I've been here for fucking ages. I've done all my shit. It was like they got to track and bass. And then there was like a vibe where people were like, oh, why are you going? And in my head, I didn't say anything out loud. I was just like, you motherfuckers, I've done so much fucking work. You're going to give me shit for fucking leaving? I just left in the end.
Yeah.
I just fucking went.
That's fair though. I mean, it's, as long as you weren't just sitting there for like 2 weeks and you're like kind of bored and then I head out.
I mean, no. I was sat there for 3 days bored and I was like, I'm fucking going. Fuck this shit. I don't know what am I going to do? Fucking, I think you could slap the bass there. Like,
yeah,
I can't produce any fucking bass. That sounds worse than it was. I can't. Do I want that in? Yeah, just fucking leave it in. I don't care. Don't suppose you prepared a 2 Truths and a Lie for me, did you? Did you have
I think I did actually.
You did? Yeah, can we do that? And then we can
to.
Fucking dip. You can have a lovely day.
I would love that.
Hit me.
I have not actually physically thrown up since I was 12 years old.
Okay.
When I was very young, my brother cut off all of my hair. And I was born with my 2 bottom baby teeth grown in when I came like out of my mom's womb.
These are all great because they're quite believable. Can I ask you some questions about the things so
sure,
I can decipher? Yeah. The bottom teeth, how long did it take for the rest to grow in? Was it like you were just a toothy child? I don't know when teeth come in. I don't know when teeth come in. I'm changing it. We're going off that one. I don't want to ask questions about that one.
Yeah.
What happened when you were 12 when you just stopped puking? Why is there like a definite moment of 12 years old?
I ate fast food that was bad, and then it created a phobia in me of vomiting. So now I do everything I can to avoid vomiting.
So what if you feel like you're vomiting? Like you're going to? You just don't do it.
It just doesn't happen. Yeah. I think I've created a weird mental block about it.
Do you get nauseous?
Sometimes.
Is this one a lie?
No.
That was true. That's fucking interesting. You just haven't been sick since you were 12.
The gabber in me just wanted to go off on a tangent. I was like, it'll be so obvious it's true if I keep talking about it. I had Carl's Jr., this place.
Fuck American fast food.
Oh, horrible. I just had Well, I was with my dad and we were driving to see my grandma at the time lived in this area called Lake Elsinore. It's just this horrible place people go to die. It's like an hour and a half away from Orange County, and it's just a horrible drive. And I got food. We ate it the night before, and then I was in the backseat and couldn't hold it in. I just vomited all over the backseat of my dad's car. And yeah, God bless him, he cleaned it up. It was funny. I brought it up to him before he died, and he's like, "I don't remember that." I was like, "That's amazing."
Well, it's a fucking root memory for
yeah.
me. But now do you think you avoid fast food so you've got less, or it's just maybe you just got a special bacteria from it? Now you've got iron stomach.
You know what the funny thing is that my idiot 12-year-old brain was like, that meat was bad, so the meat made me sick. So if I don't eat meat anymore, I won't deal with that. And so I avoided meat for like 8 or 9 years after that. Like I was a vegetarian at like 12 because I was like...
It was that. You know what? It was the fucking lettuce.
I know. The guy went to the bathroom and didn't wash his hands and then made my burger. It was like so many things could have
Wendy's,
gone wrong there.
Taco Bell, both of those. Wendy's, I've had food poisoning twice. Now they're out. Taco Bell once. It's out.
I've had Taco Bell food poisoning once. I've had it a few times since then.
Wait, did you puke though? No puking?
I didn't know.
Just
the other end, yeah.
Weird.
That's the weird thing is
Must be good for your voice. No fucking puke?
I guess so. I was gonna say that's the funny thing is
you got a good set of teeth on you as well. Sorry,
thanks, man.
Change
Appreciate
things there.
it.
US smile.
Thanks. Yeah, I've gotten food poisoning quite a few times since 12, and yeah, it's just always
butt.
Always butt.
Do you get twice as much?
Yeah.
Do you get twice as much out the butt? You reckon?
I don't know.
You don't have enough to gauge it on.
No, I've had key moments though where it's been like I have like stomach issues here and there, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like an ulcer or something. I ended up finding out I had this bacteria in my stomach called H. pylori like a year ago, and man, I went and I hit this pocket where it's just like anything I was eating, I was getting really bloated, full, kind of nauseous, and like not really eating that much. And I was so sad. I went and got brunch with our producer Dan and his wife, and then my kid's mom, and the brunch was great. And then I was just kind of like feeling super full, and then they were like, "There's a show at the Whiskey, like Spite is playing. Do you want to go see it?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And then we went to the Whiskey and got a drink next door, and I was like in the middle of drinking a White Claw, and then I was like, I have to go to the bathroom, and I was literally like on my knees in front of a toilet, like I've had a few key moments like since 12.
It's gonna happen.
Where I'm like, oh my God, it's over. Like I'm gonna throw up, and then
maybe
it just doesn't happen.
Maybe it's the bacteria. Maybe you've got some iron stomach shit.
I don't know. I took pills to get rid of the bacteria, thankfully. So I'm chilling now, but it is weird. There's just been these like really close moments, like it's about to happen, and then it doesn't.
And well, I hope to God it doesn't happen on this tour because we've talked about it. Okay, what was your other ones? When you were young, your brother shaved all your hair off. That's got to be it's got to be a lie because it's.
I love that you had to investigate because I thought the whole point of it was just off first sounds. It's like. That's bullshit.
I mean, really it is, but like, I don't know how the game works.
It's your podcast.
I'm trying to figure out what's entertaining. I feel like that one's a lie because I feel like I gave you the 2 truths and a lie really, really short, like notice, and you just had to come up with one.
It's totally a lie.
Yeah, because it's too fucking boring.
Yeah.
Because the other one, what was the other one?
I was born with my bottom teeth grown in.
Yeah, it's too specific.
I Googled good 2 truths and a lie things, and that was one like.
That's fine.
There was other dumb ones like I don't like ice cream.
Yeah, no. So I don't know when. Simon, we're going to put you to work. When does a baby's teeth grow in? Get on that Google machine.
I think my daughter's top 2 came in at like 6 or 7 months or something.
Yeah, 4 to 7 months.
So you were just rocking around for 4 months with 2 teeth.
Yeah. It was weird. They had like a home video, and my mom like pulled my lips down, and I just had these like 2 little teeth growing in.
Like a little.
Her poor breasts. Yeah.
Oh fuck! Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Gnashing down on it.
You know what? She wasn't a very good mom, so fuck her.
Oh really? Oh
yeah.
Oh,
my mom had a drug problem when I was younger, and it's caused
shit.
a big strain on our relationship. But
I'm sorry to hear that. That's a whole another fucking podcast.
I'm totally kidding. It's we're like.
Doesn't sound like you're kidding.
It's
doesn't fucking sound like it.
Yeah. No, I don't. Our relationship is not great because she's kind of like a lunatic now. But
was she with your dad when he died? Were they separated?
She just wasn't there.
She just wasn't there at all.
Oh well, they got divorced when I was like 6 because she had a drug problem.
Oh, bro, you've had a fucking rough run. What a well.
It's okay. Who's had an easy run? You know,
me. Honestly, you're really well-rounded, like funny, likable, fucking talented dude, and you've had a shitty fucking card though.
I appreciate it. I think it's just music. I don't know. I just, you find like I just found really sad shit to listen to, like Linkin Park or fucking Stained, and just grew up on it. And I was like, oh, it was like a nice escape when my mom was like acting like a psycho, and then it came in a weird full circle thing, because I feel like now like we get to do it on the other side, kind of. So, yeah, thanks, man. I don't know. I feel like I really do feel like getting to write about all the stuff I've been through kind of makes it like you get to like put your pain away, kind of.
Did having a daughter change your outlook on life?
Yeah, it definitely was. Less egocentric. I guess. I don't think I was ever like
you're the singer. You're the singer in a fucking band, bro. It lives in you.
Oh, I hate it though. It's just,
but it doesn't mean you don't have it.
Just being the center of, it's just I'm quite like introverted, and my life is very simple and kind of plain. When I'm not on tour, I just kind of hang out with my daughter all the time. But it was interesting because my daughter was. I mean, I'm not hopping back into the dead dad thing, but my
dip your toe in.
Yeah.
We're going to end in a minute. Dip your toe back in.
It was just an interesting point to be at, because my daughter was hanging out in the room with us in hospice when my dad was dying, and so it was just kind of like really dark. My dad is like about to die a day or two away. I'm like, I think I was 33 or 32 when it happened, and then and then my daughter's like 7 months old, and it was just kind of this very like weird like you're at the start, I'm in the middle, and that guy's at the end. And so it kind of just sort of created this, like, I think even before that moment, you just kind of realize that your life isn't your own after you have a kid. It's just like everything I do now is just it, like, how does that change you or impact you? And I think especially like because of how my mom was as a parent, even at a very young age, I was like, I'm never like, like it was almost to spite her in a weird way. Like, I'm going to be like a great fucking dad because you dropped the ball massively. But it's awesome. It's so challenging. It's so hard sometimes. And I want to just put my head through a wall. Not actually. It's just.
No, you could have said way worse stuff there. So you went with it.
It's just funny things where it's like, I'll call her an asshole, but it's not like she's not.
It's a fucking child.
Yeah, but it's just because she's 3 and she doesn't understand. Like,
again, it's exactly like my dog.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I guess we'll leave it there. Simon, what are we on?
1 hour 40.
Perfect. That's a podcast.
That's great.
Thank you so much, man. It's been
fun.
Should
we shake on it?
Yeah, let's fucking go. Is that Clocks and Colors? You got some Clocks and Colors shit going on. On the other one.
This is Clocks and Colors. This is actually my dad.
Let me see.
Yeah, you want to see?
Let me see. I'm a jewelry guy. I'm a magpie guy.
So it's like a black coal like background setting. There's like gold flakes, and then the gray bits are my dad's ashes.
Wow.
Yeah, this woman does.
Holy shit.
If this ever happens I mean, if you want to bring the dog into the mix again,
I'll go kill someone to get one of those.
It's for anybody. Yeah, she has a shop online. I think her name is Ashley Lozano Jewelry. So shout out to her. She does it for pet remains and human remains. So a lot of people will do it for their dogs or their cats. And
that's fucking sick.
Yeah, it's cool. I think this is. It seems more focused in like feminine jewelry, but this is kind of like one of her more masculine ones.
Yeah,
and it was just
awesome.
it's a cool way to like. I always wear it when I play, so I feel like my dad's kind of, right there when I got to sing. That's
fucking cute. And we're gonna end it there. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Rory Rodriguez. Check out Dayseeker. I'm like a radio guy. Their new album Replica is out, and it's very nice. Goodbye.